You are now watching Zacian, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, we're going to be jumping into the top 4 here. We're going to have Ricardo Toddy playing it out up against Ajolt. So one of these players is going to be moving on to the grand finals. We got Mew VMAX versus Duraludon. Who's going to win? Normally, the Mew VMAX player does struggle against Duraludon, so maybe that's going to be the case, but maybe it's not. Let me know in the comments below what you think or who you think is going to win. If you already checked it out on Limitless, no cheating, no peeking, don't ruin it for anyone else. Just say hi or something in the comments. That being said, let's jump into some awesome gameplay and see exactly what's up. So here we are jumping into game 1 of the top 4. This is going to be the Ricardo Toddy versus Ajolt. So the Ricardo Toddy is going to be playing Mew VMAX. Now when it comes to their Mew VMAX list, we're going to see exactly how special it is, because Mew VMAX players can really play it however they like. We see Mew VMAX's Genesect Meloetta, so everything looks pretty standard. It looks like their extra tech bonus is a 3rd Psychic Energy. Now, that normally doesn't matter too much, but in the event where you play against a Duraludon deck, it can be pretty eventful. That being said, they are playing against a Duraludon deck. Ajolt, what up? Ajolt playing Duraludon VMAX with a 3-3 Duraludon, 2 Zacian, and I mean, I think their list looks pretty standard as well. Playing really the Team Yell towels that I've seen Cal Connor play over the past little bit. So overall, I think it's a pretty cool list. We're gonna see if Skyscraper is able to prevail over Mew VMAX. However, I do think that I do like the fact that there's the Meloetta in the Mew list that can kind of get attack and go with everything else. So we'll see how that plays out. This looks like a great start for Ricardo Toddy. And I mean, getting those basic Psychic Energies on is incredibly important, just because of the training courts that are available to be played in these decks. So that's really the way that I see it. Is just it looks pretty good if you ask me. And I don't think you could have ever asked for a better turn coming from the Ricardo Toddy. Now, the one thing that could be difficult as the Duraludon player is just getting your Pokemon knocked out incredibly early before you're able to do anything. Because again, it only blocks Pokemon with special energy, right? So if Mew V is able to have 2 basic Psychic Energies on it and just goes attack, 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 it's really not going to be too great. And again, no energy on the first turn, because Duraludon doesn't really have any self-acceleration. It really has access to attach, 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 and that's really where you're going to be trying to go for the G-Max, is it Pulverization, if I remember correctly? Yeah, G-Max Pulverization. I'm okay at remembering the attacks nowadays. There's only so many decks, right? It's one of those things where if you have to attach 3 energies and you already miss a turn, you just lost a turn, and you already lost a turn by not going first. So I think the Duraludon might be a little bit too far behind. So as long as Ricardo is able to try to get a Mew VMAX, and we see with Great Ball, might get one. We've got another Great Ball. Let's try again. We don't see one. Are we going to get one with the Cram-o-matic heads? We might see the Cram-o-matic try to go out here. I think you definitely got to go for the Cram-o-matic at this point. Maybe you don't. We do see the Cram-o-matic. Are we going to get the heads? We get the tails, but there is another Genesect. There's also access to the training court, so it's going to be a fresh 5 cards. Will we find Mew or a way to find Mew VMAX in those top cards? And we do see another Cram-o-matic. There we go. There's the heads, and we are going to get an attack off with the Mew VMAX. This could just be a simple max miracle as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't look like it makes sense to be attacking with cross Fusion Strike into a Techno Blast. So the attack names might be a little bit different, because I do believe that the Ricardo Toddy is playing in Portuguese or Brazilian Portuguese, which is very interesting. The late night series brings so many players from all around the world, and it really shows that the game is really not either Japanese based or US based. Anyone in the entire game can play in these events and see success. I know that myself. I know that I'm from North America, but I'm from Canada. A lot of players talk about it, down about it as well. It's one of those things where all these different countries, I love to see players from different countries playing these events. However, that's not necessarily the news that, jumping back into the game, Ajolt getting that Crushing Hammer heads, probably something that the Ricardo Toddy does not want to see. You want to see those psychic energies on a Mew being very happy, exactly what's going to be going on. Although there is the counter stadium as well to the Crystal Cave, so depending on how things go, could be pretty cool here. Escape Rope is really the card that we're looking for, or Boss's Orders, so I think you got to go ahead and try to hold on to your stadium as long as possible, but we'll see. Okay, so going out the window with that stadium, playing that down, no reason to grab the energy back right now. It definitely would have been better to use Cross Fusion, or to use Fusion Strike system first, because now the hand's just completely clogged up with energies. And then you just got to go ahead and attack. So right now, again, still looking good for Ricardo Toddy, but they did make that slight sequencing mistake. At this point, I think you discard a Mew V and a Meloetta. Meloetta. I actually think Meloetta is a great attacker in this matchup. Absolutely one of the best attackers, because if you have a Mew V, you can copy other attacks on it. So maybe this is the point to go Rotom Phone, try to get a Boss's Orders. I think it's much better to play Rotom Phone first before committing to any kind of energy. But we'll see how they decide to play this out. It's better to find more information. So we do see that. Are we going to see a Boss's Orders? We do see the Boss's Orders. Would Boss's Orders not get a knockout with Technoblast on the bench, taking off their energies? I think that would have been a concession there. So I'm not entirely sure why they went like that. Because they could have played out their hand, as far as I'm concerned, to get down to one card remaining. Although it did get the knockout there. I think they're still chilling. It's not like the Gmax Pulverization knocks out a Mew. So maybe this was all part of their plan anyways. Kind of playing a boss in the first place. Their hand doesn't look like it's in the greatest spot, but now we're seeing the Team Yell Towel. We're seeing all these things that you didn't necessarily look at before. So this Pokemon, if it evolves, they could be big chillin'. Boss, yeah, that's not going to get it. So this is going to be a Switch Technoblast game, and we're going to be moving into Game 2. And it looks like, I think Ajolt's going to end up going first in this matchup. I don't know if they see it, or if there's something I'm missing. 240 minus 30 is 220. 220 plus 50 is 270. But yeah, that's more than enough to get through the 250 HP. So yeah, that's game 1. We're going to see how game 2 goes. So we're going to be jumping into game 2. Ajolt's opted to go first after losing game 1. That's the scariest thing when you're playing Duraludon, is when you're going first, you could just go Duraludon, pass, and your opponent could go Meloetta, attack, because you never know what's going to happen. I'd like to see some of these other cards get played out. I don't know why we saw Power Tablet so quickly. That might have been a misclick, because that definitely would have been the card that I probably would have discarded with Cram-o-matic. So you can see that there's not a lot going on Ricardo's side. I think depending on what you get off of this, you might want to just leave that on top of the deck and not use Energy Mix, because Energy Mix would shuffle the deck. So correctly identifying that Energy Mix would shuffle up the deck, but we are seeing Ajolt kind of take advantage of the Mew slow start. So Mew is not the unspeakable best deck of all time. It does have poor starts. This is one of them. And really seeing to capitalize on that is going to be the Crushing Hammer. So getting a Crushing Hammer heads on top of that, this is really how Duraludon's not going to get there. So the reason why there was no Energy Mix is because it would shuffle up the deck, and there's already a Genesect on top of the deck that would allow you to draw cards. So it would put them further in dead drawing. So really nothing here. It's one of those things where you can't always have everything that you're looking for when it comes to these tournaments. And right now it does not look like there's a whole lot going on. It looks like this Mew V is going to get knocked right out. Maybe the one with the energy, with the basic energy, is going to get knocked right out. We'll have to see how that plays out. So there we see a Research. Research could bring the Fighting Energy. Research could bring the Crushing Hammer. We do see another Crushing Hammer. leaving Ricardo pretty defenseless. However, we did miss the fighting energy from Ajolt's side, so it's just going to be an Intrepid Sword to end the turn. Training Court top deck, really not that bad. Not sure again why I wouldn't necessarily play it out first. I think it's much better, like if we're already attaching, like it does just take an extra card out of your hand. So I think Ricardo really needs to work on like the order of operations they want to play things out, because of course you want to have those energies and stuff like that. But if you're doing it before you're drawing cards, you're just taking away less draw that you see throughout the entirety of the game. And those couple cards really could matter when you're playing against a tough matchup like Duraludon. So it could really be anyone's game when it comes down to it. But you know what? It's fine. It looks like they're trying to recover as quickly as possible. Those fighting energies, maybe there's a couple prizes on Ajolt's side. They could be like a needle in a haystack. And I mean, to be fair, like we aren't necessarily seeing the worst start here. I think it's looking pretty good overall for Ricardo. I think maybe we'll see a Mew VMAX come down this turn. Oh, Escape Rope could be certainly interesting. That could definitely get a knockout, or try to get a knockout on one of these bench Pokemon. Think you might want to send up the Zacian here. Yeah, there's the Zacian, and we are going to see the Power Tablet. I like that we held on the Power Tablet afterwards. And there is the Techno Blast for 240 damage to take 2 prize cards. Now, if Ajolt plays Duraludon VMAX correctly, they are not going to play down any other 2 prize card Pokemon. And Ricardo currently has no way to grab anything back from their discard pile, such as Echoing Horn. So it does look like we're going to be in a position of just doing 230 or is it 230, 220? We're going to see Gmax Pulverization go over and over and over again to really see how that goes. Now, Flannery here is one of the more interesting ways to play it. It is going to take away Training Court, which is a way for Ricardo to get back some of their energies, and it's going to take away one of those Fusion Strike energies that could eventually add up for a Meloetta. So there's an attack against the Mew. How are they really going to get back into this game? That's the big question. I would have liked to see the discard on the Genesect there, just in case they drew a Cram-o-matic. I think that would have been a little bit more advantageous when it comes to kind of thinning through their deck and kind of sequencing out the game. I think at this point you just got to kind of go with the Mew V with the basic Psychic Energy. Try to get set up at some point again. Maybe just evolving it at this point and retreating into a Meloetta seems like the best play for me. Maybe playing it out a little bit more, but at the same time, you don't want to be playing it out too much. I'm not sure exactly what's in Ricardo's deck, but I think retreating into Meloetta seems like the play. I would have liked to see the Genesect first before retreating, because we still have access to drawing one more card. But really, it could be anyone's game here. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense to retreat and then draw a card. It makes sense to draw a card then retreat. The more information that you gain while you're playing Pokemon puts you in the more advantageous positions. And there's a boss's orders. That's one way to really put some pressure on here. Attacking the Mew VMAX with the Psychic Energy. So I think the best way to handle this is maybe attacking with the one on the bench. That might just be the best play, to go ahead and go for Fusion Strike Energy, go ahead and go Max Miracle, bring this Duraludon VMAX down 130 damage. That's going to bring it to 260, 230, I think. 360 minus 130. How does that math work, right? Yeah, minus the 30, 330, 230. Yeah, so I think it's really the play is attacking with the bench one and trying to sweep up, hoping that they don't really have anything to follow it up with. Although, again, it doesn't really look like the Ricardo's Toddy's in a great position. Doesn't make sense to retreat yet. Definitely want to use Genesect first. That definitely seems like the big kind of play here. If they go boss's orders on the bench, I don't know if it necessarily puts them anywhere closer to getting it. Unless, of course, they're trying to get a knockout onto that Pokemon all in one go. Maybe it's some kind of play with Melodious Echo. That could certainly be cool. But when a game's get necessarily like this deep, I don't necessarily think it's going to get to the point where Ricardo's going to be able to win. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to win. And maybe we're going to see the attack off on this Duraludon, and maybe Ajolt's going to miraculously bench another Zacian on the bench. I just don't see how it makes sense to like go ahead and attack this when the other one's so much of a threat. And again, Ajolt might just have like access to Raihan, another energy, something like that. There's only so much that we can do overall. And the more that you wait, the more that they just get set up. Are we going to go for this knockout? That brings it to 240. 240 minus 30. Yeah, no, that's going to be 270 minus 30, which gets the knockout at 240 damage here. Goes through that ability. So you need to play 2 power taps to get through that ability. We do see another basic psychic energies. Really not bad cards. But at the same time, we've really got to watch out for this Duraludon. Duraludon just wins the game in 2 attacks. Having extra metal energies, why not? It's really not a turn to play Avery. Adventurous Discovery, probably just thinning out the deck. You don't want to play these cards down at all by any means. It's really just going to be G-Max Pulverization, send up Mew VMAX, G-Max Pulverization. So this is really where I don't necessarily see how they were planning this out. Ricardo doesn't necessarily seem to have an out here. Maybe they're going to go ahead and go for Psychic Leap. That might just be the play. But Psychic Leap can put them in a position where they just go boss's orders, knock at the Mew V, and then there's nothing there again. So I don't see how that's going to help, and the 70 damage doesn't necessarily deal enough to put us in that range. So the 1 energy there. Yeah, you gotta copy the Psychic Leap, otherwise you just lose the game. So let's Cross Fusion Strike into the Psychic Leap, and then you gotta shuffle that Mew at the bottom of your deck. Which Pokemon do you send up? Probably Meloetta? But at this point, it's like hoping that that Mew VMAX can, use Max Miracle 3 times. You did 40 damage, lost all your energies in play, and all the damage in play with a T-Mail Towel. I really don't see how this game is gonna not just be in Ajolt's favor. It looks like this is really one of those games where Duraludon did Duraludon things. I don't even know what they're looking for here. Maybe they're looking for a boss's orders in their hands, because they do probably play quite a few boss's orders as well. A lot of these decks do. There's Knockout on Meloetta. Those Genesect certainly looking like a snack if you have that boss's orders. Now, Training Court, not a bad top deck to have, especially if you're trying to cheese some damage off your opponent's Pokemon. You could rip one of those energies back from your discard pile, attach it to your active, and start attacking again. But again, it's going to be your 130 against their 220. And I don't think that math ever works out in your favor. You got to look at the rate of damage, and that's really where the strength of Duraludon is just going to come out now. Especially since you're going to be stuck to doing that 130 per turn. And another Crystal Cave turns out to 100 per turn, which doesn't necessarily help out anything. There's the Cram-o-matic that's going to grab the Mew VMAX. So, I mean, at least they have everything and they understand their outs. It's just, Ajolt's a boss's orders away or 2 attacks away from winning the game. Are they going to be able to use Cross Fusion Strike a few times? I'm not sure. That's the big question. Cross Fusion Strike just might get them trapped. But there's the Max Miracle. Maybe it's going to go Max Miracle, Cross Fusion Strike into Psychic Leap, Max Miracle game. And that might be really where they're looking for. But there's the boss's orders, and it does look like Ricardo's going to be going second, so we'll see how that plays out for them in game 3. So at the request of Ricardo, Ajolt's going to be going first. It looks like they're going to try to get for some huge match, some kind of anything going on in their first turn. Now, I personally like going first with Mew because it definitely puts you in the same position to kind of get there, but maybe it's going to be Mew Donk mode. We'll see how it goes. Getting an extra card there could certainly be great. That could easily be a Meloetta and a Genesect, but having a couple cards down might just be difficult. It looks like Ricardo is not necessarily going to be able to get the Donk because there's 2 Pokemon down on Ajolt's side. Really anyone's game here. So kind of thinning out the deck with Pokégear to try to get more energies on the Zacian, as far as I could tell, or maybe getting more energies in hand. So we do see that the Zacian does have access to an energy there, another energy from the Intrepid Sword, and that is kind of dangerous. Although the top deck of the Genesect's great, I would have liked to see the use of the Fog Crystal before playing down either the Genesect or the Power Tablet. If you don't check through your deck, you can't necessarily see what's going on there, right? Because what if all the Elesas were just prized, and that could have been cram fodder, right? So those are simple mistakes that players can be making, and it's just like, they're not big mistakes, it's what it's called as sequencing mistakes. So we do see the energy going right down. We do see probably another Genesect come down. We're probably going to see the Vitality Band also go on the Meloetta, because okay, actually you need a Power Tablet, so putting it on the Mew is much better there. I was wrong with my math. But with the double Fusion Strike energies getting drawn, that means there's only one in the deck. So you have to go Elesa Sparkle and rip the energy on the Meloetta, and now we're not going to be able to draw any more cards throughout the rest of the game. Or the rest of the turn, that is. So not anything what Ricardo Toddy is looking for. It doesn't thin the deck too much. You got to really attach it to one of the Mew Vs, and it just puts it into this awkward position where Ajolt could go switch, attach, boss, knock out a Mew, and they're instantly in a poor position. So you can definitely get burned a little bit by playing Mew like this, and I think this is really where I'd like to see if Ricardo went first. This would have been a much better turn 1 going into a turn 2, so you can see how that plays out. We'd have all the energies kind of attached right now. And you just got to attach to the Mew here, because that means that the Mew can't attack. Oh, we have one more draw. We have one more draw. The Escape Rope, it's not ever going to matter. I'm so confused at what's going on there. Guess they're just going to get the attack off with Meloetta? It just, like, you can't, unless, like, their opponent goes Marnie, like, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's kind of crazy, because there's a Crystal Cave. I need to look at this list really quickly. Yeah, there's no Marnie, so they can't even affect the hand. Like, there was no way to ever bounce back from it. So it's just one of those really awkward attacks that kind of, yeah. I don't really know what to say there. It's definitely not the way that I would be playing at this match. I mean, getting some early damage on Duraludon. It could just be from Ricardo might not have played this matchup too many times. It might not understand the subtle nuances of it. Because Duraludon's still a pretty new deck to the metagame. So looks like they're just going to go ahead, attach the energy to the Duraludon, and just go for Zacian again. So really kind of a lucky break, but no way to really get a big attack off. I mean, I guess they could go like Boss's Orders, knock out the Zacian on the bench. That'd be pretty cool. But so far does not look like it's going to happen this turn. Yeah, I don't see how that's happening this turn. It's looking a little bit tough there. Okay, we're gonna see an Escape Rope. Which Pokemon's gonna be taking the 210 damage? Maybe it's another Duraludon, but there's also that Crystal Cave, so it's just gonna be whatever this is minus 60 damage. At this point, I don't know, like, I think you have to set up the Duraludon if you're Ajolt. Oh. I mean, that's being pretty brave that your opponent doesn't have a Power Tab, but it looks like it's just not gonna be like that. So I don't see where the damage matters, because knocking out the Zacian doesn't really matter. The Zacian's just there to just like take 2 energies off the field, and that damage just gets cut off. There's no way to do any cheeky kind of attacks that take prize. Like, there's no like quick shootings, there's no nothing like that. So really anything could happen here. But it's still early. Like it's been only a few minutes. See how Ajolt really follows this up. I think you just got to go Zacian, smash that Meloetta, and attach an energy to your Duraludon on the field. Oh, what? Looks like they're just going to take a 2 prize card Pokemon. Personally, I don't like that, but they might, if they have Raihan in their hand, maybe that's just the play, where they go 2 prize card on the Mew, 1 prize card on the Meloetta, 3 prize cards on a Mew VMAX, but I don't see how that really changes too much. Yeah, and you just gotta play the Elesa Sparkles here. There's nothing that it's gonna grab, because the deck does not understand, or Elesa Sparkles doesn't understand that one of the Fusion Strike energy is prized, so even if there's no target, it's still a better play. I would have liked to see another Mew V go down on the field as well, because it could have never got knocked out. I think it's just an important card to play down, but so far, not so bad. We're gonna see the Ricardo Toddy get a couple prize cards there. And there is the Raihan, or I guess in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, it's Roy. It's one thing that I always found really funny when looking at international cards, because here in Canada we play with English and French cards. When my name in French would be like Zachary or something like that, and not Zach, and it becomes apparent in other places. But where is Raihan ever changed to Roy? Like, I can understand if something's like Charles or Chuck, or like kind of names that interchange, or Richard, like Richard and Rich. But Raihan is like a Ryan, but usually more with an international kind of flair, if not completely a different name. But to change it to Roy, I'm like, Raihan? It's kind of interesting. So it's, I don't know, that's kind of my fun international thing that I like, looking at different supporter cards to see what they're named. Yeah, exactly. Marnie is Roxy in Spanish, and it's just like, how do you change your name from Marnie to Roxy? It's just completely different. Is this just going to be a boss's orders turn? Because you can go Max Miracle, get knocked out. Yeah, I think you have to go boss's orders here. There's really nothing else that you can do, but if you just like go boss's orders, all that damage that you did to the Duraludon is just going to be absolutely over. It's really really kind of interesting. Okay. Looks like it's just gonna be, you just gotta retreat into the other Mew, maybe? I honestly don't know. I don't see how this matchup ever works out for Ricardo Toddy at this point. So close to Ajolt just making it to the finals. Just Team Yell Towel just healing through. You can see that the Yell Towel doesn't matter because the Mew still gets knocked out from attacks. The 220 plus 220, it's so high up there in the 2-shot range that it doesn't really matter. So, again, I think like the earlier approach of going second might have been like a little bit too greedy for this matchup. Ricardo seemed to pay with it with a little bit of sequencing errors. And right now, having 1 prize card left, I don't see how Ajolt doesn't just take this game. It's looking incredibly difficult for Ricardo to kind of jump back here. So we'll see if they have the boss's orders. Again, Mew has no hand disruption, so if Ajolt has win, they just have win. There's no way to change that currently. So they just got to go boss and hope at some point, but that's just more damage that's going to be going off of this Pokemon. And it might just really prevent them from like advancing their board state too much more. Like, I don't know how many more energies they're able to ever get an attack off, or maybe just go Max Miracle. But between decking out and just not having enough resource to go through, I don't see how Ricardo jumps back here. Could be some kind of disconnect. Do you see a Power Tablet? But whichever way you slice it, they're going to have to go through both of these Duraludon VMAX. I think that's really the biggest thing that we got to watch out for. is going through both of the Duraludon VMAX. So if there's Switch boss, that's game. There's Switch. There's the heals. There's the boss. That's going to be game for Ajolt, moving on to the grand finals of the Late Night Season 2 Invitational. And that's what we got going on for the top 4 here today. We will have Ajolt moving on to the finals to join Azul GG. We're going to have the grand finals putting up this week at some point, so stay tuned for all of those great games if you didn't get a chance to watch it live. If you did, be sure to relive the magic here on the channel, or at least support the video by giving it a thumbs up and leaving me a comment below. That being said, I love running these events, and stay tuned for Late Night Season 3, which begins on January. I'm looking at my calendar here, peeps. No cheating, January 3rd, so stay tuned. Lots of great prizes from Atlas Collectibles and PTC Geo Store. That being said, I'll catch up with all y'all later. Peace out and have yourself a great one. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video and have yourself a great day. Thanks.